sound of a second hand hitting the wall of a silent room is not just a sound for you, it is a physical impact. It is a rhythmic, mechanical violence that slices through your concentration like a scalpel. While the person sitting next to you is scrolling through their phone, completely oblivious to the world, you are counting every beat. You can feel the vibration of the plastic gears grinding against each other. You can hear the slight friction of the spring. Then, someone in the elevator starts chewing gum. To them, it is a mindless habit. To you, it is a sensory invasion. You hear the saliva moving. You hear the jaw hinge clicking with every wet, rhythmic smack that seems to echo inside your own skull. Most people would call this irritability. They would tell you to relax. They would tell you that you are being too sensitive or that you are looking for things to be bothered by. But they are viewing the world in 720p, while your brain is forced to process every frame of reality in 8K. You are not irritable. You are saturated. Your brain does not have a filter. It has a wide open intake valve that cannot be shut off. This is the Sentinel's curse. What if I told you that your exhaustion is not a sign of weakness, but a sign of a superior processor running out of bandwidth? You are carrying a biological supercomputer in a world that was built for dial-up modems. You are not a greenhouse flower that needs protection. You are a high-precision radar system that has been told it is a broken radio. You have spent your entire life feeling like an outsider because you notice the things that others are too numb to see. Have you ever walked into a room and known, within 3 seconds, that the couple in the corner just finished a silent argument? You didn't hear them speak, you didn't see them fight, but you felt the atmospheric pressure of their resentment. You saw the way the woman's left eyebrow shifted by a single millimeter when her partner spoke. You saw the way the man's carotid artery pulsed in his neck. These are micro-expressions. Most humans are blind to them. They sleepwalk through life, missing the thousands of subtextual cues that define human interaction. But you see them all. You know when a friend is lying to you before they even finish their sentence. You feel their internal dissonance as a physical weight in your chest. This is the weight of the 8K brain. While the world sleeps in a low-resolution blur, you are trapped in a high-definition reality, where every flicker of emotion and every shift in tone is a loud, unavoidable signal. You are scanning for anomalies because your nervous system is hardwired to believe that an anomaly is a threat. When your system is hit with this massive surge of data, your processor locks up. This is the freeze response. It is not cowardice, it is high-speed calculation. Your brain is trying to analyze every possible outcome of a single social interaction, and the heat generated by that friction is burning you alive from the inside out. You have become a master of reading people because your safety once depended on it, but now that mastery is draining your battery until there is nothing left but a cold, hollow shell of fatigue. To understand why your brain operates at this agonizing frequency, we must look into the abyss of our own evolutionary history. In the ancient tribes of our ancestors, survival depended on the sentinel. While the rest of the tribe slept by the fire, there were a select few whose nervous systems were tuned to the snapping of a twig or the scent of a predator on the wind. These were the individuals who could sense a storm coming before the first cloud appeared. They were the early warning system. Nature maintained a strict ratio of approximately 20% of the population to carry this genetic blueprint. If everyone had been high-resolution processors, the tribe would have been too anxious to function. If everyone had been low-resolution, the tribe would have been eaten. You are the modern descendant of the tribal protector. Clinical research using functional magnetic resonance imaging has confirmed that your brain is physically wired differently. An area called the insula, which is the seat of self-awareness and sensory integration, is significantly more active in your brain than in 80% of the population. This is not a metaphor. This is neurobiology. Your thalamus, the gatekeeper of sensory information, has a lower threshold for what it considers a priority. In a dandelion brain, the sound of a fan is discarded. In your orchid brain, the fan is treated as a primary threat. You are experiencing hyper-empathy not because you are soft, but because your brain cannot distinguish between the data of others and the data of your own existence. It is a biological overlap that leaves you exposed to the world. Developmental psychologist Edward Tronick demonstrated this through the still face experiment, showing how sensitive infants scan their parents' faces for safety. For the highly sensitive child, this scanning becomes a permanent, subconscious survival strategy. You learn to read the room before you learn to read a book, because you had to. But there is a hidden edge to this burden, a concept called Vantage sensitivity. Research by Dr. Michael Plewes shows that while highly sensitive people are more easily damaged by negative environments, they also achieve 3 times the level of success compared to the average person when placed in the right environment. This is the science of the orchid and the dandelion. A dandelion can grow in a sidewalk crack. It is sturdy, resilient, and simple, but an orchid requires specific conditions to bloom. If you put an orchid in a sidewalk crack, it will wither and die. But if you put an orchid in a greenhouse, it will outgrow every dandelion in the field. The problem is that society is a sidewalk crack designed for dandelions. You are being judged by the standards of a species that does not possess your complexity. Statistically, the 20% of people who carry these sensory processing genes represent 80% of the world's most innovative thinkers and creative geniuses. You are a biological weapon of perception, but you are being used as a paperweight. You are not broken. You are specialized. The very trait that causes you to crash is the one that allows you to see patterns that others cannot even imagine. Because you are a high-resolution receiver, you have become a primary target for the predators of the social world. Dark empaths and narcissists do not hunt for weak people. They hunt for high-bandwidth people. They see your hyper-empathy as an emotional buffet. They know that you will pick up on their manufactured sadness. They know that you will feel their fake pain and try to fix it. They use your sensitivity as a handle to turn you. In the modern corporate world, the open office plan is nothing less than a neurological massacre for the sensitive. The fluorescent lights, the constant pinging of notifications, and the shallow social posturing are designed for the 70% who see in 720p. For you, it is a sensory prison. You are being used as a battery to power systems that were never meant to support your complexity. You are the one who does the emotional labor for the entire team, smoothing over tensions and noticing mistakes before they happen. But you are never compensated for it. Instead, you are gaslit into believing that your ability to see the truth is actually a mental health flaw. You are told you are being difficult when you are simply being accurate. You are being forced to work in a state of low-level trauma, and the world calls it collaboration. Your nervous system is screaming for a firewall, but you have been conditioned to believe that setting boundaries is a sign of weakness. The clinical cure for the Sentinel's curse is not to become less sensitive. You cannot rewrite your genetic code, and to try would be to lobotomize your greatest gift. The cure is selective anesthesia. This is the stoic surgical approach to the sensitive mind. You must learn to build a cognitive firewall that separates raw data from emotional reaction. When you hear the clock ticking or the gum chewing, you must observe it as a frequency, not as an irritation. This requires the cold detachment of the surgeon. You are a scientist observing a specimen. You see the data, you categorize it, and you decide if it is worth your bandwidth. Most people are overwhelmed because they treat every signal as a priority. You must create a hierarchy of input. Level 1 is noise. It deserves 0 reaction. Level 2 is information. It should be noted but not felt. Level 3 is signal. These are the things that actually affect your survival and your goals. By building this firewall, you take the power away from the world and put it back into your own hands. You must also realize that your attention is the most valuable currency you possess. You are currently being robbed every day by low-resolution distractions. You need scheduled silence. You need periods of total sensory deprivation to allow your processor to cool down. If you do not provide this maintenance for your elite hardware, you will eventually experience a system-wide crash that the world calls burnout, but I call thermal throttling. If I offered you a pill right now that would permanently dim your vision, quiet your ears, and dull your intuition, would you take it? If you could trade your 8K vision for a peaceful, blurry life where you never felt the sting of a lie or the weight of a room again, would you? For most of your life, the answer would have been yes. You would have given anything to just be normal. But to take that pill would be to commit a crime against your own potential. You do not need to heal your sensitivity. You need to weaponize it. You need to stop hiding from the noise and start analyzing the signals. When you move from being a victim of your senses to being an observer of your data, you become the most powerful person in any room. You are the one who knows what is happening before it happens. You are the one who sees the truth when everyone else is lost in the fog. You are the Sentinel. The world is getting louder and more chaotic every day, and the dandelions are losing their way. They need the person who can hear the one true note in a room full of discord. Your depth is not a defect. It is the cost of entry for a higher level of existence. Join the lab if you are ready to stop apologizing for your brilliance and start weaponizing your range. The surgery is over. Your eyes are open. Now, it is time to look at the world for what it really is. The sound of the world will not stop just because you are tired. The noise will not fade just because you are overwhelmed. You must understand that your sensitivity is an active process, not a passive one. You have been letting the world happen to you, absorbing every vibration like a sponge in a toxic spill. But a sponge has no choice. You do. You are a biological supercomputer, and every supercomputer needs an operating system that is as sophisticated as its hardware. Your current operating system was written by people who don't even know you exist. It was written by teachers who wanted you to sit still, by parents who wanted you to be quiet, and by employers who want you to be a drone. They gave you a 720p mindset for an 8K brain. This is why you feel broken. You are trying to run high-end software on an outdated, restrictive platform. You must rewrite the code. You must define what is allowed to enter your space. If a social circle leaves you feeling drained, that is your radar telling you that there is a parasite in the room. If a job makes you feel like your soul is being sanded down, that is your 8K vision showing you that you are in a sidewalk crack. Trust the data. Stop questioning your intuition. Your gut is not a source of anxiety. It is a high-frequency antenna that has never lied to you. The anxiety only comes when you try to ignore what the antenna is telling you. Think about the sheer volume of truth you have seen but never spoke aloud. Think about the times you knew a relationship was over months before the other person did. Think about the times you saw a business mistake coming and watched it happen anyway because you were afraid of being called too sensitive. That is the waste of a sentinel. Your purpose is not to suffer in silence. Your purpose is to lead from the shadows. The dandelions are getting more and more confused by the complexity of the modern world. They are drowning in a sea of low-resolution noise. They need the person who can see through the fog. They need the person who can identify the iceberg while the ship is still miles away. But they will never ask for your help if you are still acting like a victim. You must step into your role. You must accept the isolation that comes with high-resolution vision. It is lonely at the top of the mountain, but the view is perfect. You can see the entire landscape. You can see the path forward when everyone else is trapped in the woods. Do not apologize for your intensity. Do not apologize for your depth. The dandelions can have the world of the mundane. You are here to understand the universe. The choice is yours. You can continue to hide in the shadows, covering your ears and praying for the noise to stop. Or you can stand up, open your eyes, and realize that you are the only one in the room who truly knows what is happening. The laboratory is not a place for comfort. It is a place for dissection. We are here to strip away the layers of social conditioning and childhood trauma until only the raw, powerful truth remains. You have been told you are a problem to be solved. I am telling you that you are a solution to a problem the world hasn't even recognized yet. You are the early warning system for a species that is driving itself off a cliff. Every time you feel that deep, unexplainable sense of wrongness about the direction of society, that is your sentinel brain doing its job. Every time you feel a profound connection to a piece of art or a moment of nature that leaves others cold, that is your orchid soul doing its job. You are a pioneer of human perception. You are the next step in our biological evolution. The noise will not stop. The world will not get quieter. But you can get stronger. You can build your firewall. You can sharpen your focus. You can turn your sensitivity into a blade that cuts through the lies of the world like a hot knife through butter. The surgery is complete. The scales have been removed from your eyes. Now, what are you going to do with all that data? You are no longer a student of your own pain. You are the master of your own perception. Go out into the noise and show them what an 8K brain can really do. Would you like me to analyze the specific Vantage sensitivity markers in your own life to see if you are currently in an orchid or dandelion environment? The data is clear and undeniable. You were never broken. You were never lazy. You were just too big for the narrow world they tried to give you at birth. Walk out into the chaos. Embrace the mess. Connect the dots that no one else can see. The only way to win a game that is rigged for specialists is to become the person who understands the entire board. You are no longer a student. You are the master of transitions. Go, build your web. The world is waiting for someone who knows how to see the whole picture. If you found a piece of your true self in this dissection, it means you belong with us. We do not value consistency for the sake of comfort. We value growth for the sake of survival. This lab is a sanctuary for the curious souls who refuse to be simplified. If you are ready to stop apologizing for your brilliance and start weaponizing your range, then you are one of us. Subscribe and join the collective. We are building a new map of the human mind, and we need your unique, chaotic perspective to complete it. The next surgery starts soon. Do not be late. You have work to do. Everything you have experienced up to this point has been preparation. The fatigue, the isolation, the sensory overload. It was all a test of your hardware. You passed. Now it is time to run the software you were actually designed for. The world is waiting for the Sentinel to wake up. The final truth of the Sentinel is that your sensitivity is not just about what you take in, but what you put out. Because you feel everything more deeply, you have the capacity to create more deeply. You have the capacity to love more deeply and to understand more deeply. This is the ultimate compensation for the curse. You are experiencing a version of reality that is richer, more vibrant, and more meaningful than anything a dandelion will ever know. They may have peace, but you have depth. They may have stability, but you have transcendence. You are the bridge between the physical world and the world of the subconscious. You are the one who can translate the silence into meaning. Do not trade your crown for a bit of comfort. Wear the weight of the 8K brain with pride. You are the eyes and ears of the human race. When you finally stop fighting your nature, you will find a level of power that you never thought possible. The noise will become music, the chaos will become a pattern, and you will finally be home. The lab is always open for those who are brave enough to see. The data is waiting, the truth is waiting. You are the only thing standing in the way of your own evolution. Break the cycle, build the firewall, claim your throne. The surgery is officially over.